St. George's Day. In the Middle Ages, Catalonia was a beautiful and peaceful place in Spain. People lived happily. But such happy days didn't last long. After a horrible dragon appeared, everything changed.
The dragon could fly and breathe fire. Worst of all, it was hungry all the time. The dragon roared at the people.
You must feed me a young girl each day, or I will eat all of you.
In order to survive, people obeyed him.
Soon, the Princess of Catalonia was the only girl left. She would soon become the dragon's dinner. When the horrible dragon was ready to eat the princess, a brave knight suddenly appeared. He shouted, "Let the princess go!" Who are you? How dare you give me orders?
Roared the dragon.
My name is George. I come to save the princess,
Claimed the knight. They started to fight.
George won the fight. The dragon fell to the ground. His blood flowed in the bushes and later grew into red roses.
George gave the princess a rose. It was a symbol of love and wisdom. In return, the princess gave George a book. It was a symbol of knowledge and power.
From then on, the day was called St. George's Day.
Now many men and women still keep this tradition. They exchange roses and books on this special day.
Clever MANKA. Once upon a time, there was a shepherd. He lived with his daughter MANKA. One day, their lamb wandered into a rich man's garden. As they were herding it home, the man stopped them and insisted it was his lamb. They went to the mayor for help, but the mayor didn't know whom to believe. He gave them a riddle. What's the richest thing in the world? The person with a better answer can have the lamb, said the mayor. The rich man answered, The richest thing in the world is a treasure chest. MANKA answered,
The richest thing in the world is the earth because the earth provides us with all our riches.
The mayor was impressed by MANKA's cleverness, so she was allowed to take the lamb home. The mayor fell in love with MANKA, and later they got married. On their wedding day, the mayor told MANKA, I love you. You're so clever. But please don't judge my cases, or I will send you back to your father. MANKA nodded.
But I have one request,
said MANKA.
if I were sent home, you must allow me to take one thing I treasure most from this house.
Sure, said the mayor. Not long afterward, MANKA found her husband making an unfair judgment on a poor man. She decided to give the man some clever advice. How could you break your promise, MANKA? Shouted her husband. I'm afraid I have to send you home.
You're right, but let us have our last supper together,
said MANKA. MANKA made her husband's favorite dishes. He was so full that he fell asleep in his chair. MANKA asked the servants to carry him out to her father's cottage. Next morning, when her husband woke up, he found himself sleeping at MANKA's father's cottage. What happened? Shouted her husband.
Dear husband,
MANKA said,
you told me I could take one thing I treasure most from your house. I took it because it's you I treasure most.
He was moved and burst into tears. MANKA, let's go home now because you are also my treasure, said her husband. The story of the California dolphins. Long time ago, there was Mother Earth. Her name was Hutash, the sky snake. The Milky Way was her husband. They had many animal friends, but there were no people at that time.
One day, Hutash planted some seeds on an island and cast a spell. Many babies grew from the seeds. It was also the beginning of Chumash tribe. Hutash was happy. She loved them dearly.
The sky snake was happy too. He decided to give the people a gift. He sent down a lightning bolt with his tongue. It started a fire right away. From then on, people could use fire to cook and keep warm.
Each year, more babies were born. The Chumash tribe got noisier, and the island got too crowded. So Hutash decided that some people would have to move to the mainland.
But how did those people cross the ocean and move to the mainland? Hutash had an idea. She built a rainbow bridge across the ocean. It was an amazing bridge.
Most people arrived on the mainland safely, but some people were so scared that they accidentally fell off the bridge. Hutash didn't want her people to die, so she turned the drowning people into dolphins.
That's why now we can see many dolphins along the California coast.
The Wonder Tree of the Desert. Zuleika and her family lived in a tribe in the desert. They had few visitors. So one day, when Zuleika saw a man on a horse riding toward their village, she was very excited. The man was a messenger of the sheikh, their leader. "The sheikh will be coming tomorrow," he said. This was going to be a special day. Zuleika's parents began preparing food, drinks and gifts for the sheikh. It was a custom to treat their guests well and make them comfortable. Zuleika was sad, however, because she did not have a gift for their special guest. She walked to the well and started crying. Suddenly, a fairy rose from the well and asked,
Why are you crying, little one?
Zuleika told the fairy why she was crying. The fairy smiled.
Come back to the well tomorrow, and you will have your gift for the sheikh.
The next day, Zuleika ran to the well. She could not believe her eyes. Next to the well was an elegant tree full of brown fruit. When the sheikh received Zuleika's gift, he knew its importance and what it would mean for the people there. From then on, the tree spread throughout the desert, and its fruit, the date, became one of the most special gifts in the Arab world. The Mouse's Wedding.
Once upon a time, Father Mouse and Mother Mouse wanted to find the best groom in the world for their beautiful daughter. They went to the sun and asked,
Dear Mr. Sun, you must be the greatest because you give light to the world. Will you marry our daughter?
I don't think so. Mr. Cloud can cover my light. He is greater than me,
said Mr. Sun. So they went to the cloud and asked,
Dear Mr. Cloud, you must be the greatest in the world because you can cover the sunlight. Will you marry our daughter?
I don't think so. Mr. Wind can blow me away. He is greater than me, said Mr. Cloud. So they went to the wind and asked,
Dear Mr. Wind, you must be the greatest in the world because you can blow the cloud away. Will you marry our daughter?
I don't think so. Mr. Wall can block me. He is greater than me,
said Mr. Wind. So they went to the wall and asked,
Dear Mr. Wall, you must be the greatest in the world because you can block the wind. Will you marry our daughter?
I don't think so. Look at that mouse. He is digging a hole through me. He is greater than me, said Mr. Wall. Father Mouse and Mother Mouse were very happy to hear that. They went to the mouse and said,
You must be the groom we're looking for. Please marry our beautiful daughter.
The next day, Father Mouse and Mother Mouse held a wonderful wedding for their daughter. The young couple lived happily ever after.